They got one victory this year, and then it kind of faded away there, but now we got another one, and of all places, Richmond.
Believe me, there will be a Keselowski family party tonight, and well-earned indeed. Bickle will win his third truck race of the year, and the die-hard crew celebrate.
Ruckman trying to hold off an incredible challenge by Tom Huber. Here they come to turn number 7. The final time. Joe Ruckman wins at Sears Point.
Mike Bliss wins it.
Think this thing was a frickin' rocket.
I can't believe it. Awesome win for us. I told a guy this morning, we've been talking about it. Our team gets stronger. We never roll over. We always get stronger. We never say die.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Despain. Welcome to Charlotte, North Carolina, and the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Rearview Mirror. It's a look back at the third year of NASCAR pickup truck competition. Quite a season indeed. And we're going to hear from all of the stars. I've got my sidekick, Benny Parsons, all over the Charlotte area visiting race shops and talking to truck racers, but I've got the best gig because I get to talk to the champion. Jack Sprague, put her on ice with relative ease at Las Vegas. You have our sincere congratulations. And
thank you.
And my question about the feeling. I mean, you've won a track championship or two along the way, but, I mean, this is the real deal. This is the national truck title. How's it feel?
Feels pretty good, Dave. You know, I knew when I was hired at Hendrick Motorsports it was going to be a high-pressure situation, but I also knew if I couldn't get it done there, I wasn't going to get it done. So it's been a great 2 years, and this year especially has been awful good. Feels great to be the champion. It feels great to give Rick his first truck championship, and you know, got a great sponsor with Quaker State and a great team, and you know, they deserve this thing.
Let's elaborate a little bit on that. We've heard so much about what Rick's going through and what he's been through this season and the exposure for the leukemia effort that the Winston Cup guys have gotten. But in terms of you personally, how you feel about what he's having to do and the sense of achievement in bringing him that championship. Talk a little about that.
Well, it saddens everybody here deeply what he's going through. You can't realize how good of a person he is, and you couldn't ask for a better owner if you had somebody try to write down on paper your perfect owner. So, you know, it means a lot for us to bring him this championship, and seems like he's doing pretty well. The medication's doing what it's supposed to do, but he still has his bad days, you know, and hopefully within a year or so, he'll get used to that medicine, and he'll be able to go back to the races and be a part of it again. I know it's killing him not to be a part of it, but, you know, everybody here is dug deeper, and it seems like, and you know, wanted to achieve more for him for that reason. But, you know, like I said, that was our goal at the beginning of the year, to bring in this championship, and I think it's brought his spirits up quite a bit.
Let's talk about how you got involved with what obviously is a championship team. I mean, I hear them working on the 98 trucks back here, so they're thinking about next year already. But you came to this organization in the middle of the Truck Series inaugural year from really kind of tough circumstances. I mean, your racing future wasn't all that bright. Talk a little about that.
Well, it wasn't. I've definitely been through my downs, and, you know, I've been through some ups too, but I could seem to never place myself in the right situation, chemistry-wise, and just never found the right deal, and I struggled through some Busch stuff and had some good runs in some Busch stuff, and I guess at the end of '93, I just had enough. You know, I lost my ride with the Staff America people and built that team from nothing, and ended up losing the ride 3/4 of the way through the year, and we just started running well. But now that I look back at it, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it allowed me to get this deal. And, you know, like I said, I'd had enough, and I decided to go back and run my own late model program in '94. I still had my own cars and motors, and did that, and ran awful well and made a decent living. We won 26 out of the 28 races we ran, and had a lot of fun, and it got back to where it was fun again instead of just gut-wrenching. And over the winter there, I had the opportunity to drive the 31 truck in 1995, the inaugural season, and at first I said, no way, I'm not racing no truck. You know, I'm not going to race a pickup truck. But the more I thought about it, it was the best financial move for me, stability-wise for my family. And you know, when you're racing your own stuff, if things go well, things are good. If things go bad, it costs you money. So I opted to do it, and surprisingly enough, when I first got in the truck at Phoenix, was the first race, I thought, this isn't any different than a car. It didn't feel any different, didn't look any different from the driver's seat. And we ran 6th the first race, and I fell in love. I thought, man, this is a cool deal. This is a neat series. And it is. It's a great series, and I've had a lot of fun the 3 years I've done it. It came to an end, and about the time it was coming to an end, I was talking to these people about driving the following year. Well, I never missed a beat. IRP was the last race in the 31 truck, and Flemington was the first race in their truck, which was back-to-back. And it was a one-race deal. And we went there and ran 4th. I thought, yeah, I got this deal. I nailed it. They said, well, let's go run Richmond, which was the following race. They still hadn't hired me. I'm like, phew. I've never had hives in my life, but I had hives then. I was all broke out. I'm like, you know, this is the biggest deal.
Cool Jack Sprague was a little nervous.
I had hives. But, you know, this was the biggest break a guy could ever ask for or want. And here I was driving them, but I wasn't hired yet. And man, I was nervous. I had hives. Like I said, we tested Richmond, went there. Terry ran that race. We're the fastest 2 trucks in practice. He said on the pole, I qualified 22nd or something like that. I thought, oh boy. So now I'm really nervous. First lap, I wreck. Now I'm really nervous. I figured, well, there went my deal.
There went the deal.
So I went to the rear. Didn't tear it up too bad, and came back from the rear and finished 10th. Well, they were impressed of how I came back and handled the traffic and everything, and signed me. That was Thursday night. Signed me Friday morning. So the highs went away. Ran the rest of the season, 1995 season. Sit on a pole at Phoenix. I think we had 4 top 5 finishes in 7 races, and went on to the following year. They already had the deal with Quaker State for 2 years, and went into 96 with Quaker State and hired a bunch of people, and same team we have now.
And here we are.
Here we are.
As they say in history.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to the championship story and a look at the future coming up with Jack Sprague, the reigning champion of the Truck Series. But we got to get Parsons to work here, so let's say we take a commercial break, then we'll come back and hear from some more of the drivers, and we'll go to break with the statistics that reflect the largest championship margin in series history. Again, congratulations to Jack for that. We'll have more with him later. We'll be back right after this. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series rear view mirror is brought to you by Quaker State, the quality your car deserves.
Robin Beaton banging down the backstretch. Now they come off the final corner. Bickle will win his 3rd truck race of the year. 2nd to Irvin, 3rd to Bliss, 4th to Hensley, and into the top 5 goes Hamilton as the checkered flag falls on Rich Bickle and the die-hard crew celebrate. The celebratory donut on the front straightaway. Bickle made the prediction yesterday. He said, we've struggled the last half dozen races. We're going to be very good for the next half dozen. We still want that championship.
Unfortunately for Rich, history will recall that as the last hurrah in terms of his championship hopes. The title fight kind of unraveled after that from him. But he was able to hold on to 2nd place in the championship. Let's get Benny Parsons in here. Put him to work talking to the guy who provided most of the competition for Jack Sprague in the run for the championship.
Thanks, Dave. This is Rich Bickle, driver of the Die-Hard Chevrolet truck. Finished 2nd in the points by 1 point over Joe Ruttman. And Rich, sometimes you were absolutely unbeatable, and other times really struggled.
Well, this is one of the seasons where, you know, our short track program was really strong. You know, we had problems at the road courses with braking parts and things, and that put us behind. And then with our speedway program, we just struggled with that too. We had little aerodynamic problems and things like that. But all in all, still to finish 2nd was a great year for us.
And at Martinsville, won the race at Martinsville. Sprague struggled a little bit up there. Did you guys think you had a shot at that championship after Martinsville?
Well, we look back at it. I mean, that's something that we knew we had to go there and run strong. We went and tested, and Dave Resendez helped test the truck because that's when I had my operation. And, you know, the truck was really good, and I knew we'd go there and be strong, and we were so dominant. It was just one of the few times you have a truck like that. But that helped us get back in the roll, and we figured that gave us, you know, good momentum towards the end of the season. And unfortunately, we just had problems at the end of the year, and then just, you know, relegated us back to 2nd.
Do you think that after that, and you looked like you had a chance to win the championship, that you guys might have started points racing and just was paying too much attention to Sprague rather than the racetracks?
No, not really, because I think the whole thing is, you know, you got to win anyway. You got to be up front, and I mean, you know, they're going to be up front too. So the whole situation is you just go there in the mindset to try to win every race, and the points are going to fall where they were or may, and it's the way it is in racing. A lot of guys points race. They start early in the season, and we never really did that. we just kind of went week in and week out and tried to stay consistent and run the top 5. And, you know, pretty much that's what the diehard Chevy did the first half of the season. Just unfortunate. The second half just kind of, you know, went downhill.
You had 3 victories, second in the points, won over $300,000. What's your assessment of the Craftsman Truck Series?
Oh, it's a great series, you know, along with having a great year. It's so competitive. I mean, the first year the Truck Series come out, I mean, it was kind of a mom and pop type thing. You know, last season was really strong, but this year it was probably 5 times harder than it was the year before. More teams coming up, the more Wins Cup owners, you know, fully funded, more good drivers. It's just tough, and it goes to show you how tough this series is, because you have guys like Ernie Irvin, the Wins Cup guys coming in. They don't come and dominate like they did before. You know, they got to beat us now, and even going road course racing, you have the road course specialists come in, and the truck guys usually dominate.
Now, you've driven the Wins Cup car. How different is driving the Craftsman truck versus the Winston Cup car?
Well, basically, besides the aerodynamic package of being, you know, off, I mean, you can't drive in quite as far and get on it quite as quick. At the big tracks, they drive basically the same, because it's the same chassis. It just, you know, if everybody thinks the trucks are loose because of the bed in the back, but usually it's just the opposite with our trucks. They always were airtight and always push quite a bit. So, you know, that's something everybody looks at saying, man, things have to be loose, but they're not. And but besides that, they basically drive the same as a Cup car.
When you look at the nose of the truck, it's really hard to see how you can get any downforce on the nose. What can they do to stop that aerodynamic push?
Well, I know for next year, I think Chevrolet's coming out with a new nose and a little bit more rounded and trying to get a little bit more downforce in front. And on the speedways, they let us widen the fenders out a little bit more to help that and get the front end planted, and that helped quite a bit.
Rich, how about some final thoughts for the 1997 season?
Well, looking back at it, you know, it was a great year for us. I mean, besides myself, you know, winning the 3 races and sitting on 4 poles and running second in points, you know, it was a great year for Chevrolet and the diehard people at Sears. You know, from last year's program to this year's was a big boost for them. And then for Darrell Walter Motorsports, you know, I got to thank them for giving me a great opportunity. And, you know, we come close. But, you know, sometimes you got to lose one before you win one. And, you know, but the year was great. Had a lot of fun, traveled around the whole country and met a lot of good people and raced at some new racetracks. And I think I'm up to like 132 tracks I've been to now. So I keep adding in the way they keep building these racetracks around the country that, you know, maybe I'll get to 150 before I'm done.
Rich, thank you very much. Great season.
Thank you.
Rich Bickle, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back with more of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series rearview mirror after this.
Hubert may have the faster truck. He moves up alongside Ruffin as they go up the hill. Wow, carousel.
Hold your line.
Side by side.
Good job. Good job. Keep digging.
That was Joe Ruttman's radio we were listening to. Ruttman trying to hold off an incredible challenge by Tom Hubert. Here they come to turn number 7. The final time. Sauter watches from 3rd position. Let's watch what Hubert does. He'll try to get to the inside. Coming off the corner. Can't do it. And the crew tells him to ride it home. Up over the rumble strips. And Hubert gets off. Oh, he gets off.
Behind you, Joe Cruz.
That's probably what happened to Mercedes.
Keep digging.
That's probably exactly what happened to Mercedes.
Just keep doing smooth. Nice smooth lap. You got it, buddy.
Here he comes toward turn number 11. The final corner. Looks like Ruttman has got it in the bag.
Get a good
Nothing
launch.
happens here in the
All over,
last
bud.
corner.
You won me another road race, Ruttman. I love you, baby.
Hubert going to finish second. Sauter third, but Joe Ruttman wins at Sears Point.
All right, let the record show that in his one visit to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series this year, Bob Jenkins did get pretty excited. It was quite a race. It was quite an afternoon. Bottom line, Joe Ruttman probably created as much excitement in this 97 season as anybody else out there. The old man of truck racing began the season with a bang, won the first race at Walt Disney World in Orlando. That win also set the tone for a season-long rivalry between Ruttman and Jack Sprague, a man Ruttman loves to antagonize.
We're really good in opposite rooms. Yeah, he's here and I'm over there. We just famously. Jack's all right as a boy, you know, but a man, he's not too good. You know, so. I think that you try to cycle Jack out, and I haven't been able to do it. I tried my best, you know. I tried every trick in the book to psych him this year to make him, you know, choke somewhere along the line, but he didn't do it. I'm not sure he knows where to take Joe Ruttman from, you know, because I've worked him from every angle. but maybe that's better. That's where I want the friendship to be, where he doesn't know what it is, you know, and because when he sees me in the mirror, he don't know what's going to take place, and that's what I want him to always think, you know, what is this guy going to do?
That veteran angle seemed to work to his advantage most of the year. Ruttman scored 5 victories in the '97 season, 2 of them on road courses, making for a lot of good memories.
Topeka, we had the fastest truck. We got penalized at the back of the field, and somebody run out of gas late in the race. Okay, but I think had we been in the right position, you know, we would have been in a challenging position. You know, Sonoma, the gas thing has helped us in 2 or 3 races. Nazareth comes to mind. You know, we probably had a 8th or 9th place truck at Nazareth and ended up getting 2nd. So, you know, to win a race, you do it with your foot and your brain both. And unfortunately, the Roush boys have a lot of brains. I just got a heavy right foot.
So at 53 years old, he's running and winning with the best of them. The Truck Series sure did come along at the right time.
Maybe I had something to prove to myself and everybody else. You know, I knew I still had it in me. And I think what people don't realize that when you realize if you're a young guy, you know, like my stepson, you know, he's thinking, hey, I got years to go. You know, maybe I don't know what he's thinking is that, you know, I got years to race. Well, I look at it like, man, this has got to be the greatest thing in the world, and I treasure every second of it, and I give 199% all the time because, you know, I know that I can see the top of the hill. You know, when you're at the bottom of the hill, you look up there and go, oh, I got years and years to go. I know that I don't have that, truthfully. So consequently, I enjoy every minute of it. So the Truck Series has just given me the opportunity to race against young guys and send them back to their truck owners and say, hey, that old guy beat me, you know what I mean? So I kind of giggle and laugh, and that's it's really a real motivation for me.
Motivation he doesn't lack. Sponsorship he may. 1998 is up in the air as far as Ruttman and owner Jack Roush are concerned.
Jack, I love you. I know you're not going to let me go, please, you know, because, you know, Social Security, you know, folks, help LCI get me back in this ride. I hope we come back, because it'd be devastating to me if I wasn't able to come back. And I haven't got on my hands and knees with Jack yet, but I will, you know, whenever the time comes, so I'll beg.
Well, I find it hard to believe any begging is going to be necessary. And let's hope this old dog will be around for a long time. We're going to be back with more of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Rear View Mirror right after this. Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Rear View Mirror. Since the outset, this series has been marked by an interesting mix of drivers from a lot of different disciplines. We've talked a lot about the graduates of ESPN Thunder who have made good in truck racing. Randy Tolsma, not unlike the champion Jack Sprague, is a guy who moved from the north down to the Charlotte area to take a crack at this series, and lo and behold, he won a race in 1997. Benny, talk to him.
Thanks, Dave. Randy, you were a sprint, midget, silver crown, open wheel driver. How did you get off in the trucks?
You know, it just comes back to years ago with the opportunity. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway was no longer. And, you know, you had 2 big sports, and that was the Daytona 500 and the Indianapolis 500. And being a midget driver wasn't going to get me to Indianapolis. And, you know, I liked what NASCAR had to offer. You know, its wholesome atmosphere. You know, it was still a race car you could really drive. And so I started looking that way. And then Kenny Schrader and Jeff Gordon began to open doors and showing that we could still transform an open-wheel driver to a stock car driver. And so that's the way I started to go.
Did you think it was going to be as tough as it was?
Probably knew it'd be as tough. I probably really didn't believe I could even do it. Being from Meridian, Idaho, there's not a whole lot of racers that have accelerated into the major league auto racing or even professional sports. So I knew I had our work cut out for us, and we just continued to try to excel in everything that we were doing, from racing midgets to local, to going to California to race midgets, and then to Indianapolis. And, you know, of course, ESPN and the Thunder Series is what propelled many of us to where we're at, and that opened some doors and began to see a little light at the end of the tunnel that maybe it could happen.
After you struggled early on in the season, and then it started to turn around, is there a point that it turned around?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, 2 points. When Dave Fuge came on board and TNL engines, and then Texas was the race that that we came together. Dave came on at Monroe, and we just went to run Evergreen Speedway just for the opportunity to work together. We didn't expect success there. And when we went to Texas, I mean, that was kind of a do-or-die situation. We were out of excuses of why we were running bad. IWX Motor Freight had given us everything we needed to be successful, and we weren't. So that was kind of a key race for us.
And then later on, after that, the truck became competitive.
Yeah, you know, with Dave. Dave and I really gelled well together. He's phenomenal on being able to help me cipher out what I needed in the truck, what I was feeling, what I was doing to make the truck handle wrong. And, you know, and I had a lot of confidence in him, and we began to work together, and that made us a competitive team.
Did you have to change your driving style a lot from the open-wheel cars to the stock cars?
I did a lot, but I don't know if I needed to change it a lot. You know, at the beginning, I was trying to figure out why we were slow or bad, and thought it was me, because I was the minor, you know, the part that had changed the most to come here. And so I tried to change my driving style. When Dave came on board, he said, drive the way you want to drive, and we'll make a truck, you know, work that way, and do what you're comfortable, because that's how you're going to be most successful. So, you know, I mean, there's a lot of differences. You know, don't get me wrong, a 900-pound midget with all kinds of tire and a lot of horsepower to weight ratio to a big 3,400-pound truck. There's a lot of difference, but it's still a race car. I mean, you know as well as I do, a race car drives like a race car, and you feel certain things, and that's what you're trying to achieve.
How much relief was there at Bakersfield when you pulled into victory lane? I mean, did you think the load of the world had just been lifted off your shoulders?
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible. You know, the race kind of came to us. I mean, I drove my type of race, which is, you know, I like to think, and I like to be able to conserve. I like to, you know, I like to drive races where my mind plays a big key, and that was one because of tire conservation. When I saw Mike Wallace and Mike Bliss in front of us, Mike Bliss was running the low line, and I kept thinking, if he'll stay down there, I got a shot. You know, if I can get by Mike, and we worked, and then we reeled in Mike Bliss, and both Mike and I passed him, and then Mike faltered once down the back straightaway, and I got in the back of him and just thought I'd got a good run. And then the crew chief, Dave, came over and said, he's got a problem, so pay attention. And then it was, you know, do I worry about holding second place and worry about Stacy Compton and that? And man, when we won, I mean, I got a big thrill. And you know, each stage of my career, I've got a real chill in my heart of when we won, and that was one of them.
And next year looks great.
Yeah, you know, we're going forward. We won a '98 championship, and I think we're competitive enough to do that. And you know, Dole Fresh Fruit came on board this year, and we're looking for someone next year, and we're going to achieve that goal.
And we'll be back with more of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Rearview Mirror after this.
We're back talking to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion Jack Sprague about the '97 season. Started off with a bang, literally. I mean, here you were going for the win at Orlando, and along comes Ruttman, and into the fence you go. It wasn't an easy championship to win. I mean, you guys had your fair share of struggles along the way. You were coming off a year when you'd won 5 races, and winning more races and winning the championship was clearly the goal. Talk a little bit about some of the ups and downs of this deal.
Well, in one aspect, it was a little dissatisfying, the 1997 season, but, you know, the big picture was to win the championship. We accomplished that. That was our main goal. But our other goal is to win more races than we had in '96. And we'd just come off 2 in a row at the end of '96. It looked like we were going to go 3 in a row, the first one in '97, and it didn't work out that way. Led most of the race and ended up banged up a little bit on the last lap. But
what a diplomat.
But, you know, that's racing. I understand that. It's just, you know, it's disheartening because we had to wait 2 months before the next race, so we had to sit on that 15th place finish and stew, you know, and it put us behind the 8 ball right away. But all in all, we had an awesome year. As far as I'm concerned, we had one bad race, and that was Denver, Colorado. We ran terrible, got lapped, ran terrible, finished 16th. But, you know, we went right to Homestead after Orlando, led the race, should have won that race. I messed up, finished 4th or 5th. Probably wanting it so bad because I'd not gotten Orlando, which I felt like we deserved, and lost it on my own at Homestead. And I'll tell you, the first half of the year, it went on like that. We led most of Loudon, should have won that race, finished 2nd. Led most of Milwaukee, should have won that race, caution flag. Topeka, should have won that race, controversy. Watkins Glen should have won that race, broke valve springs. I mean, it goes on and on. Texas, we had a good shot at winning. We probably honestly could sit here with 10 wins. And the 7 of them, we let it get away from us, 7 or 8 of them. You know, Phoenix this fall, gas mileage beat us. But, hey, we had a great year. And in the second half of the year, we were strong. You know, we started out the year, we'd catch up with Rich a little bit, then he'd nickel and dime us to death. He'd 10, 15 point us and get away from us. Then we'd catch up, and it seemed like whenever he'd have trouble, we'd have trouble, like Texas. You know, that was our only DNF we've ever had in this series, and had mechanical problems and didn't finish the race, and he had trouble, so it was kind of a wash. But seemed like about the halfway point, about right after Louisville, we started running real well in the short tracks. We won Nashville. We started nickel and diming him to death and just started catching him. Then we got to the road courses and got big jumps on him. Topeka and Watkins Glen, we got huge jumps on them. And I believe that's where we took over the point lead. And then Richmond, we nickeled and dimed him a little bit. And we, you know, like, all the way up till Martinsville, we gained points on him. Well, then he won Martinsville, and we finished 10th. And it kind of looked bad because we were running 5th, and on the last lap, Corelli blew the tire. We get wrecked. We finished 10th. And he went from a 95 or 6 point lead to 55 or 6. And I thought, uh-oh, now it's getting hairy again. So we go out west. Sears Point, looks like we're going to finish right there together, nose to tail. And he gets in trouble, and I gain points again. So after about that point, you know, we started gaining pretty heavy on him. And then Phoenix, when he had trouble, and we got the 177-point lead, we were pretty much home free.
All right, a little later, we're going to talk about his plans for next year. I guarantee you one of the guys he's going to have to race for the championship in '98 is Mike Bliss. Let's take this opportunity to catch up on his '97 review and '98 plans.
It's been a big learning season for myself, and even on our crew. I think we came into this year thinking that we'd probably come away with 5 wins and be right there with Jack Sprague and for the championship. But we've had our ups and downs, and a lot of just a lot of learning curve for me and the team, really. In racing, there's always an excuse. You know, you always have an excuse if you don't win, and that's what we've learned this year. Is a lot of excuses, but it's all down on paper. We know going into next year what to solve. Jim Smith, our owner, wanted the perfect weekend there, and he got it. He got the pole, he got the win. You know, and a lot of this contributes this year, too, is Robert Yates in our motor program. Towards the end of the year, we've got a lot more motor and a lot more torque and horsepower, and that's been a big plus for us. It took that edge off. All the guys were edgy, Barry, and even Jim, the owner, and myself, we wanted to go out winning this year. We had to win that race, this one race, and it helped a lot. Being I consider one of the biggest races besides Texas this year, and that's what tickled me. I felt really great. We always felt we could win, but we just had to put everything together, and it's starting to fall together now. And you know, I hate to see the year end, but you know, our year starts pretty early. 4 or 5 years ago, I pictured myself at Indianapolis, you know, in an open wheel car. The Truck Series came and gave me a new outlook, and you know, stock cars is the way to go. I feel like NASCAR is probably the best thing that ever happened to me. And you know, if something never does, if I decide to stay here, I'll never regret it, because this is going to be bigger and better in the next 5 years than people expect.
Manufacturers Championship standings for the '97 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship. Yeah, Chevrolet dominated with 16 wins and a 28-point margin of championship victory. But Dodge became a player this year, scoring their first 2 victories in the history of the series. And my friend Benny is standing by to talk to the driver and the owner who made the first one happen.
Tony Raines, his owner, Kurt Rorick, and we're in the shop in High Point, North Carolina. Tony, first season in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, how was it?
It was a little bit of everything. You know, had some ups, had some downs, and overall it, you know, was mediocre, I think, for me. But we had a lot of good stuff, a lot of bad stuff, but looking forward to next year.
The victory in Odessa, that was obviously the high point.
Yeah, and that was a lot better than it just appeared, because I had run that racetrack in other series, and you know, that place had bit me so many times, I felt like it owed it to me, and to get a first win in a Dodge truck there and a first win at I-70 was special.
How tough is the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series?
It's really tough. I told Kurt sometimes, I think, you know, going to a cup race would almost be easier. You know, I know it wouldn't in that sense, but the truck races would have 50, 60 trucks to show up and qualify for 32 spots. And if you're a little bit off, you know, it was a lot to make up.
But you, 1997, I'm sure you learned a great deal about the trucks, the radial tires, the series, the racetracks. You got to be looking forward to 1998, going back to those same racetracks in the same type of vehicle.
I really am, because I did learn a lot, and I had to. I learned a lot fast, and you know, we missed the first race at Orlando, which was pretty discouraging. So I'm looking forward to going back there too. And same thing with Phoenix. Just missed that race. Went back this fall and exited a little earlier than I would like to. But you know, we've learned a lot, and I think that as a team we've grown, and we'll be able to put that to use next year.
Kurt, this was your first full season in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and you went at it with 2 trucks. Now, why a 2-truck team?
Because we probably weren't smart enough to know that that's almost impossible. Our deals last year came together. The Dana Dodge deal came together on December 16th, and the Pennzoil deal with Dodge came together December 31st. So I was calling up Tony really about 2 weeks before the first race there at Disney World. And we had a few hiccups at the start of the season, and I think it really was because we didn't have a lot of time to prepare. Once we started rolling, you know, they say whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's kind of probably what it was like most of the year. We worked real hard. We learned a lot. Tony learned a lot. You don't always want to say this, but there were a number of tracks that Tony hadn't been to. And in fact, there were a number of tracks that we hadn't been to as a team. And we came out in the deal with a victory. There are only 7 truck teams that have victories, and the first victory for Dodge. We're excited about that. We learned a great deal working with Dodge very closely this year. We did a lot of development work engine-wise that we really hadn't done before. Before, we had just really been in the position of purchasing engines that were already developed. In the Dodge program, we had to do a lot of development work, and we learned a lot from that, and hopefully we could take that forward with us in future years.
And with that Dana truck, in 1997, you had several different drivers in that truck, getting a lot of feedback from different people. How did that work out?
That was a really interesting deal. We came into the middle point of the year, and to be frank, we weren't very high up in the points. We were around 20th in the points. Dana was very interested in preparing for 1998, so we decided to evaluate many things, different chassis setups, different aero combinations, different engine combinations, and we decided let's take a look at some young drivers that are out there. And that was a unique opportunity to give some guys some opportunities to show their stuff. And one guy that was kind of a surprise in the whole deal was our shop foreman, our lead fabricator, Tom Hubert. Came and drove a few races for us and gave Dodge their highest ever finish at a road course. Second place at Sears Point, was challenging for the victory all the way in a very exciting race, and backed that up with a pretty stirring performance from, I think, 36 on the grid at Phoenix up to 9th to show that he can also drive oval tracks. So that was exciting. We also had Kevin Zawinski, the newly crowned 1996 ASA champion, come in and do a couple races for us, and Kevin did a wonderful job also. So, I mean, it was exciting to be able to get some of these young talents in here, because these are the guys that you're going to be hearing about and reading about for a long time to come in stock car racing. These are kind of the young lions coming up, and we learned a lot from them.
In 1998, you going to do a 2-truck team, you think?
We're going to attempt to do a 2-truck team in 1998. All the plans aren't absolutely together for that. Pennzoil is definitely back with us next year. Pennzoil has been so impressed with Tony this year that they want us to run Tony in 5 Winston Cup races next year.
Wow.
So all the sponsorship and all the funding for that isn't in place. We'll be having an announcement about that later on. But we can say that it will be a Ford Taurus, and we will be running Tony in 5 races. The races themselves have yet to be determined because of looking at conflicts with the truck schedule. In keeping with the concept of running a Ford in the Winston Cup schedule, we're also going to run Tony in a Ford truck in the truck series. Pennzoil makes oil for all cars, and they enjoy a long-time association with General Motors in Winston Cup. They really enjoyed their association this year with Dodge, but they're kind of in a situation where they kind of want to spread it around, and it's time to do something with Ford next year. So we're real excited about that.
Congratulations, Tony. Thank you. Folks, we'll be back with more NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series rearview mirror after this.
Well, the evolution of this NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series championship saw the departure this year of the series' first champion and first huge star, Mike Skinner. And that left the spotlight and a great deal of pressure squarely on the shoulders of his replacement.
More people thought there was pressure on me than I really thought. To me, it was an opportunity to get with one of the best teams, one of the best car owners, and one of the best sponsors in the business. I mean, the GM Goodwrench team has won many races, won a championship, and it was just an opportunity for me that I couldn't pass up. I think it increased until we finally won our first race at Loudon. I mean, that was, it was a great time for the team, for Goodwrench, for everybody, but it was also a relief for Jay Sauter. I always felt that I could get the job done, and finally winning a race, you know, kind of proved it. The biggest thing for us was to get consistent. We had 5 DNFs, and it, you know, it kind of took us out of the hunt for the point championship, but we rebounded very well for the rest of the season. The team really stuck behind me and worked well with me, obviously taking over for Mike Skinner. I mean, their success was phenomenal. And I'm being a rookie, you know, it made for a learning curve, but I think we handled it very well. It was just to win as many races as we could, and as it turned out, we only won the one in Loudon, but we were able to knock down another 9 top 5 finishes with 5 other top 10. So all in all, I think it was a successful season for the team. We brought on Todd Barrier as a new crew chief with probably 7 or 8 races to go, and he really did an excellent job of bringing the team together, getting them behind me, and kind of figuring out what I need in a race truck. And so the momentum is there, and we're really looking forward to 1998. I love to race, and in the truck series, NASCAR has done such an excellent job with the series. The competition level was up, I think, 5 times over last year. It was just a lot of fun getting in there. It's a great group of racers, and they just put on a good show every week. Last year, it was coming. It was getting there. You know, there was 35 trucks at every race, but this year it just went ballistic. I mean, you know, 50, 60 trucks at every race. We had the Winston Cup competitors coming in more and more. I mean, competition is good. Competition is what makes better racers, and I just enjoyed it. We'll have that same goal in mind as winning a championship. We'll take it 1 race at a time, try to win as many races as we can. The real deal is going to be consistent. DNFs, did not finish, is not allowed. I mean, you got to be there running at the end of every event. And I think that'll be one of the biggest goals. One of the things that I'm going to focus on is being there at the end.
We come into the year, I mean, that was one of my goals, was to win Rookie of the Year, to hopefully win a few races. But the rookie deal, I mean, that was high on the list going into the year. I really felt like that we could do it as long as you know, everything went okay. But it helps show that you can do something, or you can accomplish something that you set out to do.
To be a Cintas Rookie of the Year candidate in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series was a feat in itself for us, being a small team in North Georgia. We just come out and I've grown up in racing, you know, being a racer. You come into this, you got to have the right equipment, spend your money in the right place, and put a great team together, and that's what we've had behind us. And if you was to grade our season, it's been an A for my guys, and we've had a great year.
Let the record show that Rick Crawford made a very serious run at Kenny Irwin Jr. That margin in the Cintas Rookie of the Year point standings a little deceiving. A couple of late season problems caught Crawford up and kept him from challenging for the championship in the end. And Stacy Compton, pretty impressive performance for a team that is brand new from the top down or the bottom up. Take your pick. And that team will be back to challenge again in 1998. Let's go to Benny.
Thanks, Dave. I'm with Stacy Compton. He finished 3rd, as you saw, in the Cintas Rookie points. And Stacy, what made you jump over to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series?
Well, probably an opportunity. I mean, Troy Selberg, David Hodson, give me the opportunity of a lifetime to step into something like this. And, you know, I feel like this team has got a lot of depth. It's got a lot of potential, and I hope to be here for a long time. We feel like we've got a really strong team, and really looking forward to next year.
Did you feel right away that you could be competitive and be one of the top contending rookies?
Well, I felt like we could, because I knew with David's background and Troy's background, we got a perfect motor program with Peter Guile. We got, you know, the Fords ran strong all year, and we've got a solid team. I mean, I guess we're what you call a true rookie team. We've got a rookie owner, a rookie crew chief, and a rookie driver, and you know, we were successful. We've been able to go out and get in every show without using any provisionals, and you know, just the depth of the team, knowing what is here, and the goals that this whole team has got, I felt like we could be competitive. You know, I do need to say that it was a lot more competitive than we initially thought. You know, we hoped to win the Rookie of the Year and get a top 10 in points, But the thing about it was we stayed there the whole year. I mean, we were in contention to do that the whole year. So the truck series is tough. I mean, it's awful competitive, but we've been real pleased with the year so far.
So as a whole, you're happy with the season?
Absolutely.
Stacy, coming from the Winston Racing Series, what was the biggest change in being able to, in driving the Craftsman Truck Series?
Probably going from track to track. You know, in the Winston Racing Series, we pretty much concentrated on 2 or 3 tracks, and we ran those consistently week after week. And I guess probably going from track to track, tracks that we'd never seen before, getting there, getting an hour and a half's worth of practice, never have seen the places, you know, Troy or any of the guys ever seen the places, myself either. Being able to go there and get used to the track in the short amount of practice that we had probably has been the toughest thing for us. But, you know, good crew took care of that, and it accelerated my learning curve.
What's the toughest thing about driving the trucks? I mean, do they want to push? Do they want to get loose? Do you get enough downforce on the rear of the truck? What's the toughest thing about it?
Well, surprisingly, you get plenty of downforce on the rear. You just don't get enough on the front. And the trucks have a real bad tendency to push right in the center of the corner. And, you know, with the horsepower we've got, that helps. But they still have a real bad tendency to push. And it took us about 4 or 5 races to realize that we needed to set the trucks up for long runs. You know, the first of the year, I was used to the old late models, and I wanted to set the trucks up real loose to start with, and at about 15 laps, we were junk. And it took time. I mean, it took experience and seat time, and as the year went on, we got better and better and better. And I think that's all part of being a rookie team and a rookie driver, just getting used to the trucks and figuring out what they need and what it takes to make them last a long time. And towards the end of the year, we were able to do that.
What about the speeds in the truck, up to 180 miles per hour? Is that a problem in those big trucks?
I don't think so. You know, NASCAR's done such a good job with making the trucks stable. You know, they went with the more rear spoiler. They went with gurney strips. They've done a lot of things to try to help the trucks, to try to make them more stable. I mean, we went to California and Texas and Vegas and all these tracks that you're running, you know, some pretty quick speeds. And to be honest, I think the trucks probably put on as good a show as anybody out there. But I think a lot of it was because of the drivers. I mean, the drivers have got confidence in each other, and they know not to do anything crazy. That, you know, we've got to... This is new water for us. We need to experiment a little bit, and the guys, I think the drivers out there have done a great job finding out what the trucks are going to do, and you know, hats off to NASCAR. They've made the trucks real drivable also. And 1998, look forward to that? 1998, probably looking forward to that more than anything I've ever done in my racing career. Just with what we've put together, with the team that David's put together in Troy, and everybody here that's associated with Impact Motorsports. Once again, we're going back with Peter Guile with our motor program. Ford's got a great package that we're real excited about, and sponsorship is looking real good right now. So, you know, next year really looks to be good for Impact Motorsports. I'm going back with more experience. You know, getting on some of these tracks for a second time, I think we're going to be a lot better. Folks, I was really impressed at the talent in the Centos rookie battle in 1997. And Kenny Irwin, the leading rookie in 1997, gets a Winston Cup ride with Robert Yates. How good is that? I can't wait to see what happens in 1990, who the contenders will be. They will be back with final thoughts after this.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series rear view mirror has been brought to you by the more than 1,750 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. We're back with a look at your 1998 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series schedule. We'll kick things off. Boy, this is close, isn't it? January 18th at Disney World Speedway down in Florida. A lot of changes this year. There's your Watkins Glen Road Race moving back to the month of May. And the California Speedway festivities go to the middle of July, moving from the end of the year. A big change there. We get into September and 2 brand new races as the schedule grows. Memphis Motorsports Park and Gateway International Raceway will both be hosting the NASCAR Craftsman trucks, and that brings a smile to the face of the guy that they used to call Big Track Jack. You've kind of got some modifications on that nickname since then, but you like the big racetrack, so that should be 2 places where you can go score a bunch of points, huh? Yeah, we're looking forward to them 2 racetracks. There are 2 more miles we get to run on, and you know, we've got awful good on the road courses, and that's one of our goals, is a nail road course win. We thought we had a shot of 2 of them, actually, and but we'd like to win a road course. We won a short track, and them miles definitely aren't going to hurt us. You said at the end of last season, or going into this year, that the goals were 2. One was to win more races than last year. You missed on that one. The other was to win the championship. Have you had the opportunity to sit down and formulate the 98 game plan, the strategy, and put those goals on paper, or are you that kind of guy? How does your mind work in terms of preparing for the defense? I know what I want to do. I mean, I know what this team's goals are
because I guess whatever my goals are was what the team's goals would be. But we were going to run Winston Cup races this year some, and it got into such a points battle that we opted not to distract ourselves. So we've got 3 brand new cars here that these guys have built right here, and the R&D's built the chassis, and these guys are putting them together, and we're going to run 5 Cup races next year. And hopefully run the Winston Cup circuit in 1999. But, you know, our goal is next year to win as many races as we can win. You know, we've won the championship. We've got that done. So now we want to win as many races as we can, and hopefully the points will take care of themselves, and run these 5 Winston Cup races and be as competitive as we can and put on a good showing.
As you look toward this coming season with those sort of dual opportunities, defend the championship but also start making your way into Winston Cup, are you concerned at all about focus and concentration? Is the Cup thing going to distract from the truck effort? Will you be able to keep the balance there?
Well, I hope so. You know, we'll try to run a few of the Cup races in the beginning of the year when we got that 2-month spread between Orlando and Homestead, and run a couple more at the end of the year. It's got to distract to a point. I mean, there's only so many guys in this shop. But we also know we have to do this to get ready to run the Winston Cup and to be competitive. We've got to get our feet wet. We've got to get a pit crew together. This will be practice for us. You know, we'll have 5 races, which means we'll test 5 times. So we'll have 10 opportunities to get, you know, acquainted with these cars. And, you know, Dennis has been out of it a while, so it's going to take a little different setups than the trucks do, obviously. And it's going to take a different type of driving to a point. And, you know, it's got to distract us a little bit, but we also know we have to do it to be prepared to do it right. So we've done the truck thing, we've won the thing. So now we'll go out and see if we can win a bunch more races and win the championship again.
You excited about the potential for Winston Cup?
I'm excited about everything.
Perhaps a future Winston Cup champion, but in any case, the 1997 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion, and we certainly congratulate him for that. We're going to celebrate with him on ESPN2. The banquet is coming up in San Francisco, and it will air on the Deuce on December 21st as we kick off the big Christmas celebration. And be sure and tune in and relive some of the great moments of Jack Sprague's 1997 championship. Our congratulations to Jack. Our thanks to Benny Parsons. I'm Dave Despain. So long, everyone.